Hey guys, I already did an in-depth guide about a series of Dusks, but this mode saw some updates, so it's time to make another guide and talk about what happened after all these updates. Now, yeah, of course, you already know what artifacts to go for, what catalyst to pick, etc. But they added new artifacts called Acoustica artifacts. Those are artifacts that are specifically to a character. This here, for example, the Oliphant is only for a knight, and depending on which characters you use, especially what main DPS you play, you should always aim to find this Acoustica artifact for your characters, especially for your main DPS. Now, of course, they are all really good, but there are some that stick out and that are better than others. I can give you a really good example for an artifact that is completely busted, got added in version 2.6, and is for a character that everyone always should use, which is the old Kanu for Fatutu. This one is really busted. So since everyone always plays Fatutu no matter what, that is a very good recommendation for an artifact to aim for on your journey. Now you have to keep in mind that there are enhanced requirements. For example, this one here, when Fatutu is a companion, you have to complete 3 path nodes to enhance this artifact. So, and only if you enhance this artifact does it activate what makes it so incredibly busted, and that is that Fatutu casts at the end of every round her buff incantation, her incantation number 1, completely for free. Of course, additionally, you start off with a maximum amount of shells on your opponent, which makes this, like, it is extremely good and something to look out for. But yeah, you should always aim to get the artifact for your main DPS, which in my case would be Lucy. And if I take now this battery pack for Lucy as an example, the enhanced requirements here are a little bit more hard to get, so to speak, because when Lucy is the companion, obtain 4 voltaic artifacts in total. So I already have to keep in mind right when I jump into a run of a series of Dusks that I need to obtain myself 4 voltaic artifacts in total as fast as possible to level this up. And there's more, because you have to, for this battery pack to actually activate, I have to get 2 energy. You see this here when Lucy is deployed and requires 2 energy to activate, and I need specific items that give me these 2 energies, and I have to set it up in my inventory properly. So let's jump into a run and I will explain things further while we are on our journey. So here we go, this will be the run. I will play this on like double speed here. You can watch, and I want to use this opportunity to just talk to you a little bit about, specifically, of course, this mode, a series of Dusks, but this talk will expand to Reverse1999 as a game in general, because as fantastic as this game is, I honestly believe this is the best game on the market. It is even a better game, like generally speaking, than all the big ones like Valorant, League of Legends, Minecraft, whatever game you want to name that has a huge audience. I seriously believe Reverse1999 is a better game than all of those. So yeah, it is one of the best games you could possibly play nowadays. But still, like, I even would go as far and say this game here, Reverse1999, it has the potential to could be developed into one of the best games of all time even. But it is of course not there. It needs a lot of improvement in quite some ways. There is a lot about, like as I said, this game is an absolute masterpiece, and there's a lot of positive things to say about it as well. That's why I speak so highly about it. That's why I make YouTube content for this game and not for any other game, you get the point. But still, this game is missing something extremely crucial, and it has a massive glaring weakness, and that is the lack of content. Like right now, for example, right now we are in a period of time in this game that this game always has in every single version. It's a gigantic content drought. There's just absolutely nothing to do, no matter where you look. Like, it is literally unplayable. You can't play this game. You log in and there's nothing to do. There is zero content, right? And it would be alright for a game like this to have here and there some days where there's no content, where you can't play this game, so you can like take a little bit of a breather, take a little bit of a break, or the content that is in this game, approach it very, very slowly. So maybe you don't have enough time on your hands, or you don't want to play as much, all of this stuff, sure, true. But to have a content drought for like over 2 weeks that we have right now, we have a little bit of over 2 weeks now with zero content whatsoever. So there will be nothing to do. This expands on just taking a break, or having a little bit of a breather, or not having enough time on your hands. Like, over 2 weeks is way too excessive, especially if you consider the fact that versions were normally 6 weeks long, and they already reduced the time from 6 weeks to 4 weeks. So one version is right now 4 weeks long, and to have over 2 weeks of those 4 weeks with nothing to do, that is extremely crazy. Like, that makes the game, that is the one big concern and the one big weakness that this game has. There was even a point in time, like back in the day, so to speak, where I lost interest in this game because of this exact fact. That was back when versions were six weeks long. Like, there were periods of times, like we have right now, over 2 weeks, where there is nothing to do. Like, I just couldn't. I stopped playing this game. But I saw the potential, and I saw what masterpiece this game is, and I kept logging in every single day. I dumped my stamina, I got the daily task and the weekly task and all of this stuff finished, But I couldn't actively engage with this game and play it because it was just hella boring to just log in, do my daily tasks in 2 minutes, and then log out again because there's nothing to do. Like, nah, that was nothing for me. But then again, I saw the potential that this game had, so I kept logging in to grab all the rewards. And now that they reduced the time that a version takes from 6 to 4 weeks, I came back, and I was proven to be right. Like, this game is an absolute masterpiece, and the developers doing an absolutely fantastic job. Those are like one of the best game developers on the planet right now, maybe even the number one best. You could, like, there are serious arguments to be made there, but still, the point that I'm making is the lack of content. And why do I talk about this kind of stuff right now, when I make a video about the gameplay mode A Series of Dusks. That is very simple, because this gameplay mode right here, A Series of Dusks, this could be what fixes the problem I'm addressing, the problem about this content drought, right? This could actually be the mode that fixes this one problem that this game has. Unfortunately, it is not that. So yeah, let me keep yapping and hear me out a little bit. So I'm streaming on twitch.tv for like 2 years now, every single day. And I did so for a very, very long time, for over a year, over 1.5 years by now. I'm streaming on twitch.tv every single day for at least 8 hours, right? Lately, I decreased the time a little bit because the game that I'm playing is Pokemon Unite, and I get really, really sick of this game because those developers over there, they are completely brain dead. So that's why I play this game excessively. As I said, like over 8 hours, at least 8 hours for over 1.5 years. I have a world record in this game for the biggest ribbon collection on the planet, you know? But I'm looking for a different game to actually stream. But then again, if I look what the market has to offer, like Valorant, like League of Legends, like Fortnite, like all the big games, all the games that are supposed to be good, they all suck, right? They're all really, really bad. They all have like glaring weaknesses. It would not be justified to switch to one of these games. By the way, I played League of Legends for like 7 or 8 years, and this game is an absolute shithole, and the developers also don't do anything to address these issues, so they will never be fixed. This game exists for like 12 or 13 years, and it has still the same problems that it had on day one. So completely forget about it. It's unplayable garbage, you know. And why I'm telling you this, you know, that is because I'm looking for a game that I can stream that is actually decent, and the only game that there is would be Reverse1999. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the content. This game is unstreamable. There's nothing to do. There's nothing about this game that I could stream, right? Never ever. Like, even if they're, like, let's say the version 2.6 that dropped. Okay, well, this is very, very hype, and it would be a good decision for a content creator to now stream and profit from this hype of a new version dropping, you know? The problem is that you sit there for what, an hour? Maybe at a maximum 2 hours. And then you have all the content obliterated that there is in this game. Everything, right? And then you sit there with nothing to do, and yeah, you have to come up with something and pull something out of your ass. Like, you know, that is not worth it. That is, to me, it's not even worth to considering streaming this. There is nothing. There's no meat to the bone. You know what I mean? And that's a fact, right? This is like unstreamable. Unfortunately, because I would love to stream this game every single day and do everything, talk about, play, grind, you know? But then there is no gameplay mode in this game. Besides from the lack of content, there's also no gameplay mode that is grindable, that would reward players for actually playing this game a lot. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have a mode. And one more time, A Series of Dusks, this gameplay mode, this is a very, very good blueprint to give us this mode. Give us this mode where we can actually play the game, where we can actually grind, and it would be a way to reward your players that play your game. And it would be also give content creators a an opportunity to actually stream this game and have people engage with it. But it doesn't exist. Because this series of Dusks gameplay mode is trash. It was better when it released. There was a point in time where this gameplay mode was decent. Not what it should be, but it was better than it is right now. Why is that? Because all of these updates that keep happening with this mode hurt this mode instead of making it better. That is mainly due to them introducing new items. More and more artifacts, as they are called, get introduced into this game, and that makes this gameplay mode bloated. It is overloaded with items right now that you don't even need. And that leads to players having a lot of bad runs, you know? Like, aside from other problems, like this mode is still taking way too long. It gets boring. But the real issue are the items, because there are too many right now. If I play this gameplay mode, and everyone that does so, there's a very, very high probability now that you have a run in which you get extremely unlucky and it makes the game way more boring. Like, let's take the Acoustica artifacts that got added as an example. There are now, even before version 2.6, there were not that many of them, so it was kind of fine. Already annoying, but it was still kind of fine. Because, as I said, there weren't too many, and if you got your hands onto one of those Acoustica artifacts, the probability, the odds of this Acoustica artifact actually being one that you can make use of, one that you need, was quite high. Now they added a bunch of more Acoustica artifacts in version 2.6, which makes this gameplay mode again worse. Because now, when I get my hands onto an Acoustica artifact now, the odds of it being a completely useless item that I can't even use, it's unusable, not even useless, it's completely unusable. It just is annoying, you know, and it makes my run way worse. It nerfs me. And now, that's another big problem. Nerfing the player is always, in every single game ever, a very, very bad decision. For the simple fact that it makes the game more boring. Players do never want to get nerfed. The stronger you are, the more and the better you are, the more fun this game is. Of course, the game also needs to be challenging. No question. It cannot always be a walk in the park. There has to be content that challenges the player. And a series of Dusks should be a challenging mode. Otherwise it gets boring, you know? Sure. But the way you get nerfed here in this mode is boring. You should buff the opponents should be buffed to make this a challenge. But the player should not be nerfed. And the player is hardcore nerfed here. And as you can see, if you look on your screen, the debuffs, these ones here, all these debuffs that you take, are like, to introduce a mechanic like that is complete trash. It makes the gameplay mode much more boring, as I said many times by now. Because it makes you weaker, and that is not the way. You need to have tougher opponents, but you don't need to be nerfed. That's the issue. And you can see the best debuffs, the best nerfs that you can take here are the ones that reduce your coin income, and the ones that you also saw that whenever you obtain an artifact, you get a useless item into your stash that just so that it takes up space and that you can have less items in your inventory. And you know, that is needless to say, that is these ones here. See how many of those I got? And that fills up my stash. That is not the right way to go about this mode. This makes this so, this is just there really to annoy me, you know, to annoy the player. It is not good game design by any means. It's complete trash. And it is unfortunate and very, very sad. Because again, this gameplay mode could easily be exactly what the game needs and fix the game's only weakness. But the developers don't get it, you know? And it is very, very sad and unfortunate, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about this. This gameplay mode right here, done right, would be the perfect thing to grind this game out, to reward the players for actually playing your game, and give me an opportunity to have something to stream, which again leads to a better game, because there is content that people can engage with, that people can stream, and something to talk about, you know. But yeah, it is unfortunately not the case. But yeah, that's about it. That was a little bit of a rant and negative, but I always glaze this game and tell everyone how amazing it is, and it is true. It is, again, don't get me wrong, right, when I say all this negative stuff. That is only about a series of Dusks gameplay mode and a massive lack of content in general. Like, pretty much everything else about this game is an absolute masterpiece. The characters are wonderful. The voice acting is incredibly good. The design, how everything looks and feels, is perfection. You know, there's so much good stuff to say about this game. So yeah, don't get me wrong. And also how they handle power creep and stuff. I could go on and on and on and on. How much of a masterpiece this game actually is. But yeah, with the weaknesses it has, it unfortunately loses a lot of potential. And yeah, I talked about what this exactly is. A general lack of content, and the fact that the potential that this mode, a series of Dusks, has, is unfortunately thrown into the garbage, which makes me sad. Because again, I would love to stream this game excessively every single day for many, many hours. I would love my game to stream on Twitch, be Reverse1999, but it can't be that. And yeah, I just wanted to show you a series of Dusks. I just wanted to talk to you about actual issues that this game has. They are very rare, but they are pretty big, right? But yeah, again, that's about it. I talked my mind off. I gave you a little bit of a rundown. I showed you a run of a series of Dusks, which debuffs you need to take, which items you should watch out for, and how the enhancements for the acoustical artifact work, and so on and so forth. But that's it for the video, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. And I can already see what comments I will get. The main argument that I hear against what I just yapped about for a while is that, look, Straw, this is the nature of a turn-based gacha game. Every single gacha game out there has this content drought. It is part of the games, of the genre's design, that people do not want to invest a lot of time into this game, and they want to just pay money to obtain their strengths and to reduce the time gate, right? They want to get strong in this game by flexing the money that they have. you know, flexing their wallet, so to speak. That is what gacha games are for, and it's part of the genre's design. I get that, right? But I heavily disagree, especially with a game like Reverse1999. There is, like, this game is already very free-to-play friendly. I am a free-to-play player, and I obliterate all the content there is in this game pretty much easily, you know? You just have to gain knowledge and know what you are doing, and you will be like perfectly fine easily, you know? And to just not have content for so long is just not okay. There cannot be an argument against it. But still, like, hit me with your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this little rant that I just did, right? It's not really a rant, because this game is fantastic and I'm just speaking off my mind. And we also at some point have to address the issues and not only glaze everything, right? So there we go. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. If you enjoy Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate that. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.